And now, the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.
Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
I'm Andrew Sabo.
And we are back again talking about episode
524? 525?
525.
Hey!
The number doesn't matter. The
It
point
doesn't.
is, here today, gone tomorrow. Part 3.
The final.
The final here today, gone tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Gone tomorrow?
They all have the question mark, right?
They all do have the question mark.
What the heck? Oh, well.
Spoiler alert, Mitch is gone tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
The question mark need not be there.
It is confirmed. He gone. Context?
This episode aired July 12th of 2003. It's episode 12 on Out of Control. And it was written by Kathy Buchanan, directed by Marshall Younger. Basically the same as the last 2 episodes we did.
But there was all those different writers, too, right?
Well, yeah, they're uncredited, though.
Yeah.
There was a... Yeah. It's not a pure Kathy Buchanan script,
Yeah.
but she's the only credited writer on it.
I would say, though, it seems like she does have her hands on this part more than others.
Yeah.
Just because it's a bit more Connie and Mitch centered, at least towards the end of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like all of the episodes are pretty well divided between Connie and Mitch. But
That's fair.
I'm going to hope and assume that Kathy Buchanan is just doing the Connie and Mitch stuff, because then she gets a big old A+.
Oh, yeah.
If she was
Dynamite.
doing the other stuff, I've got issues. We'll get into it.
All right. I think
So-
now is as good of a time to roll promo as any. Right?
Wait,
Oh, wait, we don't
do
have
not
a promo.
have a promo.
We've been over this. We've been over this.
So the part 2 and part 3 run the same promo. So we're going to save you guys from listening to it twice and just go ahead and dive into the beginning of the episode. So we start off the top with just your standard...
Is there Welcome to or in Now Adventures in Odyssey?
yeah, it's not included on the album version. It is on the aired version.
Okay.
It does the And Now Adventures in Odyssey, and then it does a recap.
Yeah. Oh.
And then we get a great little music cue.
Very counter moves-esque.
I like it a lot.
It's very good. I like it.
And then we start exactly where the last episode ended.
Which, if you forgot, Mitch proposed and then Aram bleeped.
Yep.
Beeped.
Yep. And
All of the
so
above.
we're talking about Aram.
Yeah.
That's just kind of right off the top.
He's back.
Yep. He's I don't know. Mitch is like, who are you? He's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. He throws out that this like, maybe I'm the FBI
Yeah.
testing you.
Well,
And
that's
then-
kind of what he tries to be.
Yeah, but it's weird because so Aram says, maybe I'm the FBI testing you, and then Mitch is like, oh, I think it might be the FBI testing
Testing
me.
me.
And it's like, but if it was the FBI testing you, why would they say that?
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, maybe like
It's about like because he's trying to get him to not like to follow orders, and he was given orders by Agent Borland to get off the case
Right.
because he was too close.
right. So maybe the FBI is fabricating a mystery for him to solve, or they're trying to see if he'll follow orders, or they're trying to see if he's smart enough to disobey orders.
Basically, the FBI is a conniving girlfriend trying to sabotage the relationship.
Is what he thinks.
Yeah.
It's not, though. And
Not
he
at
also
all.
he also throws out a hypothesis that's like maybe there's someone on the FBI working with
This other person, yeah.
working with the person stealing Wit's identity. Like maybe it's an inside job, which makes no sense.
Yeah, boy. A lot of
I think we need to save it till the end,
yeah.
but I don't understand Charles' plot, and I'm just gonna leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, and so Mitch then kind of asks Connie about where she's at before they were interrupted by not Mitch Aram.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Can we call it? Yeah.
can we call it what?
Well, we can call it Aram because it's not Aram because it's not Robert Mitchell. So there you go.
We can call it BC.
Yeah. Or RC if you're me. It's for Ray Charles.
Oh, I got it.
See, guys, call back.
So Connie decides, like, you know what? I'm gonna sit on this, and I'm not gonna give you an answer right now.
Which, yes!
Yeah.
This is the closest Odyssey has ever been to being feminist. Holy crap.
This is, like, I'm glad we record these without having heard the next one.
Yeah.
Because it greatly benefited us to have our rant last episode and then this episode be like, oh, my hopes and dreams, they're back. Thank goodness. Oh,
yes.
So much joy.
And the same thing with Connie's mom later.
Yes.
The exact same thing.
We get this a couple times.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, and she's like, I want to, like, you know, I want to sit on this. I want to think, you know, and pray. And there's good on you for not rushing into that life-changing decision.
Yeah, she has the great part where she says, like, there's too much going on right now.
Yeah.
You know, I need time to think and pray. And I'm just like,
how very wit of you.
But, like...
No, totally,
like,
yeah.
Way to not make a rash decision under pressure.
Yeah, like, and by a person that you would feel she'd probably be the most susceptible to make such a decision.
Yeah.
So
if her track record is any signal.
Yeah.
It's. Anyways, so Mitch leaves to go talk to Whit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going back and forth with this, you know, it's
kind of recapping, just understanding, like, what's going on. So, like, Mitch is back, or, like, Arum's back, but so is, you know, we're trying to figure out who fake Arum is and how that ties in, because he's very clearly aware of everything that's been going on with Whit and the identity theft and all that fun stuff.
So, yeah, fake Arum is obviously tied to this identity theft, and also it's got to be someone who knows Arum.
Yeah.
Which is... Yeah,
that
there's not that many...
people.
Right.
Yeah.
That cuts down your numbers real quick.
Yeah.
And even more on top of that, how many people know that Mitch is Arum?
Yeah. That is a very small number
like
of people.
That's a tight circle right there.
Which, you know, obviously we know that it's Bennett Charles, but, like, pretty much it's just him and the FBI. Like,
right. Or Whit and Connie.
Yeah.
Mitch's sister. Like,
yeah, like, I don't understand, like, because later, obviously, it's, you know, when they figure it out that it's Bennett Charles, like, how is this, like, I feel like you could just solve this with, like, a Venn diagram of, like, all the people that know Mitch, and then all the people that know Mitch is Arum, and then all of the people that would want to hurt him.
Right. Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And so they're trying to decide, like, what to do now.
Yeah.
And Mitch is like, you know, kind of like, I don't know really what we're supposed to do, but solving the mystery is the right thing to do,
regardless of what Borland says.
Yeah, and Whit's like, I think you're right.
And I'm like, what?
No,
it's not.
Like, it's not as though the FBI was like, this case is irrelevant. We are no longer investigating it. It doesn't matter. Goodbye.
Yeah.
They said, hey, we're going to keep figuring this stuff out. You don't get to play a role.
Because you're in it.
Right.
Yeah.
So why is it the right thing to do to continue investigating it? Explain, Whit and Mitch.
That's how you cut it down to 2 parts. Is you just have an end there, and they're just, like, sitting and chilling at Whit's End and having good conversations, and Connie's like, you know, Connie and Mitch can sort out their beef. That's how you figure it out.
Yeah.
It ends there.
Yeah. And then this is when
Connie is talking to her mom, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is when June shows up. Connie's feeling a little bit left out, saying, you know, Mitch and Whit ran out again. They're Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Which.
Okay.
Who's Batman?
Whit? I think.
Right? Like, it's gotta be Whit, but it also doesn't entirely
feel right
make
to
sense
be Whit.
Because, like, Mitch is running point on this stuff, but there's no way Whit is Robin.
Whit's parents are dead. That's my deciding factor. That's the
That's
only
true
thing
of both
he has over
Batman
him.
and Robin.
Oh shoot, I didn't know that. Robin's parents are dead too?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. I don't
Anyways.
know much about DC at
Yeah,
all.
clearly. I think I also have a random note that's just like, as we have the Cal and Alex combo of Calix,
Yeah.
the Mitt and Witch combo, the Mitch and Wit combo is Witch
Yeah. Or Mitt.
or Mitt. I think did I say Mitt and Witch combo?
No.
I stumbled over my own words, but
How very Andrew of you. But
you're
yeah.
rubbing off on me, kid.
I know. I tried to leave and give you a shot to recover, but not really. Maybe I made things worse.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm here for that. The Great Witch Hunt makes sense. The search for witch.
Search for Witch. I mean, I think these are the only Wit and Mitch episodes.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah.
Witch.
I'm here for it.
Anyways, so June shows up, is talking with Connie. She acknowledges that things were like that. She kind of pushed her relationship struggles onto Connie.
Yeah,
which is exactly what we talked about.
Yeah.
So
And right
nice
out
to
of the
know that
gate.
the show knows that was a problem.
And she said she was sorry, like
Yeah.
humbly and stuff. Like she wasn't like,
Oh man.
I was just looking out for you and whatever, like, like being jaded and stuff. She was totally like, hey, I love you, but also like I made a mistake.
Yeah, parents apologizing is
So
a
good.
phenomenal thing,
so good.
especially in
Well, it just makes
media.
me think like June is such a good character. Can we please have more of her? And then we just don't. Yeah, there's a really good moment though. It's super good. It's super good for Connie's character development. It's super good for June's character development. Like from what we saw last time, because like she really did come across as just like a protective mother, and now we're seeing this and like oh she's like she's biblically grounded, it seems, and also two, like she's taking this seriously. And then she brings up the fact that Mitch came to ask her for permission to ask Connie, which what an odd practice. I haven't really given it much thought.
I like it a lot.
If they have good relationships with their parents, then yes.
Right. Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's weird the way it comes up, because she's like, oh, he was so cute when he came over yesterday. And she's like, why was he over? And she's like, to ask if he could marry you. And it's like, okay, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
If something had happened and Mitch hadn't proposed in the meantime,
Yeah.
that's a huge spoiler.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, how very presumptuous of you, June, that you're like,
Yeah.
Mitch is coming to ask me. He will then propose immediately. He's not going to, like, set up
Within
a cute
24
time
hours, yeah.
or anything. He's just going to, like, do it. And then, because Connie does not mention that he proposed.
No, not
This
at
is
all.
her first finding out that her mom knows.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that as much as I like June, that was a misplay.
So Connie's mom then drops the bits of words of wisdom. So she's talking about like, oh well, like God's gonna walk with you like no matter where you go, and like that's really cool. And it's also very counter what they've been saying, where it's kind of like there's only one right path that God wants for you, and Connie's mom's like, I mean, like you can just do this and God's gonna be with you.
Yeah, but I think the stuff we hear about the kind of there being one path is coming from Connie and Mitch, and is maybe intentionally like they're overplaying that. It's not
so.
well communicated if that's
really
the case,
hope so.
but I'm gonna choose to read it that way.
I'm gonna optimistically view it that way. And then we cut to Charles, right?
Yeah, they're cutting back to
Charles and Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy Sutton.
Yeah, and then they're in the prison, and Rudy sneaks in a laptop, and Charles is just a really, really menacing bad guy.
Yeah,
And does anything really happen in the prison? Really, it's just like
no.
Rudy's
I think it's them basically talking, like mentioning the fact that they're about to make their mistake. I think
make their
that
mistake.
Escape.
Make their mistake.
What was I gonna say? Oh, that
This is when they're making their escape.
So they're talking a little bit about the escape plan.
Yeah.
But this is also, I think,
Perhaps a
supposed.
plan B.
Well, what?
Plan B.
Plan B? Yeah, they've got to come up with a new escape plan. But this is immediately following Charles being Aram, because that's where they're talking about the laptop and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, and Charles, in his like ominous, scary voice, courtesy of Jess Harnell, says, "Your reward will come.
Yeah.
You can count on it."
Yep. That is,
That's the man
spooky.
I want to be business partners with.
Oh yeah. Well, and he's very knowing. He's like, whoa. It's maniacal, but it's like,
Yes.
I could see being the grunt in that situation and being like, okay, and then moving on. And then so what? It's Wit and
Mitch.
Mitch at Rudy's mom's house.
Yeah. Edith
Sutton.
Yep.
Which this scene is special.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
So Mitch and Wit walk in and are like, she invites them in. They're coming for Rudy. He's not there.
Yeah.
They're pointing out all this new tech that's around.
It's like a TV and a computer.
Yeah, and Edith is
Fresh paint
being super like flirty towards Wit.
Yeah.
And ice cold towards Mitch.
Oh yeah, it's so great. She's talking to Wit and she's like, "You can call me Edith," and then Mitch calls her Edith and she's like, "You can call me Mrs. Sutton."
Yeah. And then Wit says, "Mrs. Sutton." She says, "Oh, you can call me Edith."
Oh my lord.
Weirdly, this is not her only appearance.
What?
She makes a small appearance in like an episode, I don't know, a year from now or something.
What? Oh, is it in reference to this? Do we know?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
It's just like she shows up as a bit part. I think she basically goes to Wit's End to flirt with Wit.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't remember that.
But yeah,
that's special.
It's funny.
That is really good.
And so she's Edith is voiced by Mitzi McCall, who doesn't really have anything exciting on the IMDb. She's been in a ton of stuff, but just like bit parts across live action and animation.
Anything of note?
No, nothing of note for Mitzi McCall. We've got some things of note for Edith Sutton, though. Like I said, she shows up in one additional episode. Also, there is a sentence on the wiki that I cannot find corroborated anywhere, and if anybody listening can shed any sort of light, I would love to hear it. There is a point at which there's a line in the wiki that's just like, she's the mother of Rudy Sutton, and then the next line is, she was the last person to see June Kendall alive before she died from an instant heart attack. But there is no reference to that anywhere else on the wiki. I did a search for just Edith Sutton on every page and just Sutton on every page, and there is no pages that have any implication towards that. So I don't know where this information comes. The AIO wiki, unlike a proper wiki, doesn't have citations.
Come on, Lee.
So I don't have any idea where or why this sentence is. There's a chance it could be true, but I
think we have to listen to the episode.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And she's not in any episode. Like, she's in one episode in the future. She has no other mentions in episodes.
So it's just like a plot thing. She's not in that episode?
No, nor is she. Her voice actor is not in the episode, nor is she mentioned by any character in the episode. I think this is just a false entry on the wiki, and I don't know why it's there. However,
what?
I'm open to... So if you guys have any information about this crazy sentence, you can go to the Edith Sutton page on AIOWiki.com and take a look at it and see if you can figure out, or if you know more things, and then reach out to us on
Twitter.
Or shoot us an email, something that we can clarify this, because I have no idea.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Edith has a big crush on Wit. She calls him Cutie Pie and Snookums and other names, which constantly embarrasses Wit. She admires Wit's muscular cheekbones. She was the first and last person to see... Or she was the last person to see June Kendall alive before she died from an instant heart attack. What? What? Okay. What?
I cannot make heads or tails of it.
I need to listen to the episode because she could have been mentioned by a character.
But the AIO Wiki tracks character mentions as well.
Within episodes.
Yeah. And also, June did not die of an instant heart attack.
Yeah, she died of something else, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it now because I did dive into this a little bit, but oh no, she did die from a heart attack. But
she was sick for a while.
Yeah, or she's in the hospital for a while. Like she's taken in a yeah. I don't know. It's a really weird sentence and I don't know why it's there and I would like someone else to do some research because I already sunk too much time into this and I cannot figure it out.
Yeah, so basically...
Oh, wait, sorry.
Go for it.
Before we move on, I do have one other thing I want to bring up about Edith just because it sheds a weird light on Odyssey in general, which is... So, there's they now have the Avery Awards, which is their, like, awards at the end of a year where they give to voice actors and whatnot for the show, like best episode, what character did the best, all that stuff. They've been doing for a handful of years now, but before that there were the end of season awards. So after a season of Odyssey, like the spring of the year and the fall of the year would air, they would do awards. And so the character of Edith Sutton, voiced by Mitzi McCall, came in third place at the 2003 End of Season Awards for Best Female Actor. Because nominated ahead of her were Connie and Liz. Connie won, Liz came in second, Edith came in third. Odyssey has a serious problem if this weird bit part who has a scene in an episode is the third best female on the show.
Yeah, that is horrifying. Oh no. That is so bad. Oh
also,
my gosh.
June should have been nominated.
Yeah.
June is across 2 episodes and way better.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, the voice acting of her is
I like
very convincing.
Edith is fun, but
she's pleasant, but she's also like, I don't want to compare her to Tapas, but I'm going to. She's just something small, and I think that you should give that award, or that place should be held by something more substantial.
Anyways.
There you go, Edith. You are now a Spanish entree.
So yeah, going into the other stuff, from the scene, we do find out that the car is there.
Yeah, the Tercel.
Yeah.
And she lets Wit look at it, but doesn't let Mitch look at it.
But yeah, so the Rudy repainted the car?
Yeah. What? I don't know. She's like, I like red.
Like what? Not like he took the car to get repainted. The house smells like paint because he repainted it in the garage. I don't think he's got like a spray shop. So like this was it.
You can do it by hand. You can do a home job. It's not going to be good.
It doesn't look good though, and this is a presumably new car. Maybe he's trying to disguise it.
That's my guess.
Or he couldn't afford red? I don't know.
I couldn't afford the red. It was champagne or silver, Mom. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is very confusing. And also, like, you probably shouldn't do that in a garage. I feel like you'll fumigate yourself.
Yep. Anyways.
Granted, he seems like maybe he's huffed some spray paint in his life.
Yeah,
so
probably.
perhaps.
I mean, haven't we all?
I have. Well, how do you think you get me without huffing some spray paint? My current personality has been marred by years of abuse. Yeah, so then we get so they're connecting the dots outside now.
Yeah, they go outside and are like piecing everything together.
Yeah. And it's pretty good. It's kind of like, because basically the bust through is like, okay, Rudy works for the prison, but didn't they know that before? No, they didn't. No, they didn't know that before. Well, I don't know. It seems like
it had to be before they knew it was someone who was guarding the warehouse where the stuff was shipped.
Yeah.
Then they went from that to find Rudy, and then from there discovered, oh, he's a guard at the prison. Who do we know at the prison?
Yeah.
And they eventually come across Charles. And suddenly it all clicks.
Yeah.
And this is the sort of like kind of trope that I love in like mystery things where they're like piecing it all together for you.
Yeah,
and like you can see the gears working and the things clicking.
Yeah, it's like this separate piece, like, and then later with like the computer repairs and things like that. Like, okay, so it makes sense. Now he would have a computer. He could be Aram if he's doing this and.
Yep. And then Mitch calls up Borland to tell him that.
Yeah.
And Borland's like, unfortunately, we're already one step ahead of you and two steps behind
or something. And he's like, what? And then he's like,
Charles escaped the prison. So then they go to interview Terrence Stanley, voiced by Jess Harnell.
Of course.
Who is the warden at the prison. And at this point, it's Borland, Witt, and Mitch, right?
Is Borland there? I don't think he is.
Isn't he? No, he is. Because they're talking about the laundry truck and setting up the blockade and all this. So at this point, Borland's just like, oh, well, I guess the conflict is no longer here. Even though if it's Charles, the conflict just went through the roof.
Yeah.
Like,
the conflict is a big deal.
Charles, and now Witt needs to be out of there. Well, one, it's about Witt to begin with, so he shouldn't be involved. But two, like, if there's anybody Charles is going to come after, it's going to be Witt and Mitch.
Yeah, we need the...
So the fact that Borland's just... Now he's like,
whatever. We'll be fine.
I'm chill with things. And so...
No. The answer is no.
They said they found sheets.
Things are worse now.
Sheets in his cell, so they're pretty sure he went out with the laundry truck. So Mitch is pretty well convinced that he didn't go with the laundry truck and is kind of thinking that he went with the garbage. Mm-hmm. And we find out that he, in fact, did go with the garbage.
In with the garbage.
Because we now cut to him and Rudy. taking Rudy's commenting on the fact that he smells like garbage.
Yeah.
And so it's at this point that Rudy's kind of like, oh, like, look, we got out without an issue. And Charles says that he didn't want to get out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm confused as to that as well. Whereas, like, so they got out. Well, what's the problem with that? Like, was he hoping to be held someplace more inconspicuous?
I don't know. We're going to hit on all the weirdness of his plan in a bit. So, and so they're, they then at this point, Witt and, they're going to like a gas station to change clothes. And so so Borland, Witt, and Mitch, all in separate vehicles because gas is free, show up at the dump to take a look at things. Yeah. And then Borland very quickly drives away because a blockade was run.
Yeah. He gets a call that the blockade was run.
Yep. And Witt leaves because he's afraid Charles is going to go after Connie.
Yeah.
So it's just Mitch up on this mountain.
And he's going to explore a dirt road that seems like it's pretty inconspicuous. And then it's mentioned that, like, well, if he has a truck, he's got all-terrain tires. I don't think it matters.
Yep.
Something worth noting real quick. I think it's this. So the scene with him outside of Rudy's mom's house, the sound engineering is really good. Like, I didn't note it then, but, like, you can, like, hear his hands, like, thumping on the hood of a car, and, like, you can, like, totally, like, think about them, like, kind of like you were saying, like, the gears turning, and in this, it's really good as well. Like, you can totally imagine it, like, the kinds of the sounds of like the gravel beneath their feet and like walking different ways and the radio coming on for Borland. It all sounds really good and like really immersive. Just want to give you credit for that.
Absolutely.
Something I noticed listening through it this time.
Yeah, and so I don't understand why Borland has to go to see this car that ran the blockade, other than they want Mitch to be alone, because he had agents at the blockade that will report it, and we immediately find out that it was a bunch of kids who ran it just for the stupidity of it. If they're calling in that someone ran the blockade, then they just have to pull them over and see that it's not Charles, and if it is Charles, get Borland there. If it's not, leave Borland where he's at.
Yeah, with the important person that is clearly putting himself in reckless danger, but also at, the center of it all.
Yeah. So Mitch is walking up this path, and
then out jumps Charles.
Yeah, out jumps Charles. They get into a sneering match.
Yeah.
Sneer.
Yeah.
And Mitch becomes kind of Rodney.
Yeah,
It's like as soon as
you gonna take me?
Like, as soon as they're sneering at each other, I'm like, oh, and there's Rodney.
Yeah, there he is. Same person.
Yeah. But the and then Rudy sneaks up behind Mitch and tases him.
Yep.
At which point Charles says, "Man, those tasers are pretty nice," so that the children watching understand what just happened.
Yeah, those tasers are pretty neat. Mind if I see that? Tase.
Yep, and then he knocks out Rudy.
And then he gets down close to him and says, like, what is that? Consider it payment in full or something like that.
And then he's like, oh, great, I can use Mitch's car because the truck is not available.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So he drags Rudy and Mitch down the hill.
Which cannot be easy.
Nope.
Rudy doesn't sound like a particularly skinny person.
No, he does
and
not.
Mitch is at least an adult.
Yeah. and then he throws them both in the trunk of Mitch's car.
Because they won't be expecting it.
And then they wake up.
Yeah.
We hear them in the trunk. Yeah. Once again, very good sounding.
Yeah.
You get the idea that it's a tight space.
Yeah.
That it's dark somehow. Like, I don't know how you convey that, but they did.
My thought is like it's overcast. For some reason in my head it's overcast. I don't know.
You're saying the roads are overcast. I'm saying it's dark in the trunk.
Okay.
Is the thing. Yeah. That's like
because you can't.
It feels like dark and claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And
like when you get really close to the mic like this.
Yep. And Mitch asks Rudy if he knows where they're going, and Rudy's like, "Oh, we're Mexico, I think."
Yeah.
Which you think is a joke.
And then you listen to Charles learning Spanish.
And then we cut into the car where Charles is learning Spanish off a CD or perhaps a cassette.
Could be a cassette. My money's on cassette.
And his plan is to drive from Odyssey to Mexico?
Why not Canada? Why not Canada?
Assumedly because Canada extradites and Mexico doesn't. Although I think Mexico also extradites. But
definitely does.
Yeah.
Definitely does now. And probably did back then too.
But
doesn't matter.
Yeah. He's going to Mexico.
For some reason.
But
maybe he's just going to a place in the United States that has a predominantly Spanish-speaking population.
Yeah, maybe Rudy was wrong. But is his plan just to leave Mitch and Rudy in the trunk until he gets to Mexico? Is he gonna let them?
So the chairman is still a thing. Perhaps he was trying to use him as collateral to get back in the good graces of.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The chairman.
We don't know about. We don't know anything about.
We never hear about that because he gets pulled over.
Yep.
And he's like, I must have been speeding. Like, don't worry, it's just speeding. And then he says, darn school zones.
Right.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You've got to be on some sort of highway, right? Like,
no, he's driving through suburbia.
Yeah, like, I'm taking
Like,
all
I
of the
want to know
back
how
roads to
long of a
Mexico.
road it's been. Like,
Yeah.
how long's he been driving?
Yeah, a while. And presumably, he's, like, in a neighborhood somewhere.
Yep.
And he's, like,
Yeah.
past the school zones. And then he gets pulled over by the police. And he's like, oh, sorry, like, I was speeding. Like, and then he's like, oh, well, yeah, a little bit. But also, you know, I'm more interested in what's in your trunk. And he's like, oh, there's nothing back there. And he's like, no, there was a hand sticking out the back.
Yeah,
Which
is, yeah.
Call back.
Exactly. This is set up in It's All About Me.
Exactly. Very nice. It's so good.
Yeah, during the radio show.
Yeah, the advice column.
He
If you ever find yourself trapped in the back or in the trunk of a car.
kick out the taillight and stick your hand out. And that's exactly what Mitch does here.
Yeah. It's so good, too. And it's very satisfying, but it's also incredibly anticlimactic.
Yeah. Well, so this is the point in the show at which we're going to step through Charles's plan.
Yeah, okay. Go
All
for
right.
it.
Feel free to jump in at any time.
Go for it.
Mitch's computer develops a problem.
Yes.
He takes this computer to a repair shop. That repair shop outsources to the prison. At the prison, Charles is not allowed to work on computers, so somehow he finds out that Mitch's computer is being worked on at the prison and works with Rudy to find a workaround so that he can use Mitch's computer. Mm-hmm. Then Whit implies that he must have the credit card information from before he went to prison. So he's got all that committed to memory, or can find it from his computer. He uses Mitch's computer to rack up purchases. No, not even to rack up purchases. What
even is the purpose of that?
He uses Mitch's computer to hack Whit's accounts, but he doesn't plan on making any purchases with them. All the purchases are made by Rudy Sutton.
Yes. What was the purpose of stealing Whit's identity?
Well, the implication is he maybe already had it even.
Yeah.
Like, Whit thinks he must have had it beforehand.
Yeah.
He then they find out so Rudy abuses this power, buys a bunch of stuff with Whit's stolen identity things, not realizing that Charles had stolen a specific person's identity. Then Charles gets wind that they're investigating and decides, okay, like, I gotta break out of here.
Yeah.
So he gets out in the garbage truck. He was supposed to get out in the laundry truck, ends up changing it to get out in the garbage truck. At which point he discovers that, or at which point he states that he did not want to break out.
Yeah. So my guess
then
is he wanted to...
he goes to Then he knocks two guys over the head and starts driving to Mexico.
Yes. What?
What is the plan?
I think the plan was to use Whit's information to, like, sabotage him and Mitch as a form of revenge from, like, the remote, safe location of the prison. And then he realizes he's being found out, and he's like, well, crap, I'm just, like, I'm a sitting duck in prison. And so he tries to escape. I don't know exactly why he needs his information, if he already had it.
The point we also missed there is to buy time and throw them off the scent, he impersonates Aram.
Yes.
To say essentially nothing.
Yes.
And not slow them down in any way.
Yes. And then he excuses it by saying, like, well, some stall's better than no stall. They're like, what?
But
I don't understand.
Like,
I'm going to blame the chairman.
So this is the point at which you can tell that thing that we talked about 2 episodes ago, where we're talking about how this was supposed to be kind of a Connie and Mitch thing, Connie Mitch 2-parter, and got expanded into this espionage thing.
Yeah.
You can tell that it was rushed.
Yeah, because there's no
plot points make any sort of sense,
especially in that regard. And, like, there's only the slightest amount of motive from Charles to get back at him, but it's never explained.
Right, and we don't know how he's trying to get back.
Yeah.
What's Charles's plan? Because maybe he has been secretly working on these computers regardless all the time, and then found out that this was Mitch's computer and thought, okay, I can do something with this.
So he was essentially just flying by the seat of his pants the whole time.
That's the only thing that I can make any sense of, because if he's been in here plotting his revenge is what? Hope Mitch's computer breaks and they get it and he gets sent to the prison, and I can access it at the prison, and then I'll use Wit's credentials to do nothing, but then my partner
will make a
mistake, and then they'll come after us, and then I'll pretend to be Aram, and that won't change anything, so I'll run away to Mexico.
Yes. ¿De dónde es baño?
If it had been if there was a clear thing set out for him taking revenge, I'd be on board. If there was a clear reason that he was escaping prison, I'd be on board. This weird mix-mash of nonsensical plot points,
it just makes him seem like a less bad guy, like a less good bad guy. Because the whole end of, like, Novacom, he was like, even when he was scrambling, like, it was very clear, like, he held Connie hostage, and he, you know, sent Monica in with a gun and, like, did all kinds of stuff. Like, that made a lot of sense. And this is just kind of like, it just feels like he's, like, punching at air. He's just kind of, like, frantically flailing. His limbs are just like, I just don't want it. And then this is what we get, which is really nothing.
Yeah, it is. There were points throughout, like, listening to the previous 2 episodes for the show, being like, okay, this plot point doesn't make a ton of sense, but, like, maybe it will pay off. Maybe we find out that, like, he was able to send a virus to Mitch's computer that would get Mitch to take it in, and he knew it was going to go to this repair. Like, he knew, like, maybe he had this all plotted out, and then no, there was no. It just happened.
No, yeah.
And then, you know, he's trying to steal Wit's identity so that he can frame him for something. No,
there's nothing.
He just had Wit's identity and decided to, and then his partner decided to use Mitch's computer to screw with it.
Yeah, I think it could have benefited from an extra part just to flesh that out. Or, or even just, the thing that's weird is that, so it's 3 episodes. This episode is 20...
This is a full 24, but the last 2 were 18. They could have gotten 12 minutes more of content into this.
And I think it would have benefited greatly.
Yeah. I wish Borland had a plan. Like, I'm grateful for the plot device of he's giving Mitch a case to work on so that Mitch can figure out what he wants to do.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, and I like bringing Borland, or not bringing Borland, well, Borland for one, but bringing Charles back.
Yeah, as a bad guy, he's really good.
Is a fun thing, and he is a good bad guy, but his plot points make no sense when you're looking at them under scrutiny. If you're just listening,
it's pretty good.
It probably doesn't matter.
No, it definitely
I've never been hung up on this in the past, but listening through it for this show, I was like,
what the heck?
There is no common thread here. Nothing tracks, and I'm a little bit I'm annoyed. Annoyed by it.
That's for sure.
Right. But then can we jump to what I don't know. Do you have any other
no.
Charles stuff before we jump to
Connie and Mitch?
Really good scene.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's move on.
So Connie and Mitch go out to dinner. They're eating all fancy.
Yeah.
It's escargot.
Yeah, definitely. Where the heck can you get escargot in Odyssey?
I don't know.
Or maybe are they actually eating escargot, or are they just like...
Okay, they're talking about escargot.
Yeah.
Where she's like, oh, aren't you so glad they call it escargot instead of like buttery snails or something?
Yeah.
But I don't know. The implication, at least to me, was this is like a fancy dinner.
Oh, yeah. I definitely get that idea.
And so Mitch starts to be like, so, like, what's your answer? And then his phone rings.
Yeah.
And he hangs up on it. And he's kind of like, what
What's
are you
up?
saying? And
Yeah.
she's like, well, what are you saying?
Yeah.
What's happening with the FBI? And he talks about she talks about not wanting to move and leave all that she knows, and how hard that would be.
Yeah.
And he talks about, well, maybe I don't have to do the FBI.
Yeah.
And she's like, she has this beautiful quote where Connie says, "You can't give up being who you're supposed to be for my sake."
Yeah. 100%.
We've talked about it, and they talk about it here, how awesome Mitch is at this job, how passionate he is about it, how much energy it gives him. It is what he wants to do and what he is supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And so Connie's like, I can't get between that.
I can't get between that, but I also can't join you in this.
Right. So,
which is definitely that's a difficult thing as well, because
she's not saying you were meant for the FBI, so I'm going to leave Odyssey so you can pursue your dream. She's saying you were meant for the FBI, you can't give that up for me. I'm not willing to give up my life for you either.
Yeah. Because, well, and it's just, given the circumstance, their relationship is interesting and very young and new, and it's just, you can't put all your eggs in that basket.
Yeah. And so Mitch has kind of landed on, like, he's going to the FBI.
Yeah.
He's
going to
happening.
the FBI, and then he's like, well, maybe it will happen later, and then Connie's like, we'll take it one day at a time.
Right. And so she does, like, straight up say, like, no, I can't marry you.
Yeah.
But it's not a breakup.
No, it's not a breakup.
Like, she is turning down his proposal, but this isn't like them breaking up and getting into a fight. It's like we both know
that marriage isn't the right thing for us right now.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that we don't have a future. That just means we have to get there first.
Yeah.
Which
so kind of
very smart.
Yeah.
Exceptionally.
I love this scene.
Yeah.
It's and all the stuff we've been building to over the past couple episodes, where Connie acknowledges the thing I brought up last episode, where I was like, Mitch is offering marriage as a solution to the problem, and that's not like, no, he shouldn't have proposed right now. Mm-hmm. And surprisingly, the show agrees.
Yeah.
The show is like, this is also not the right time. And so you're like, Mitch is going to go off to do his thing. Connie's going to stay doing hers. And it's not the end.
No, it's just, this just isn't.
We're just returning the page.
Yeah.
And things will proceed, but,
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. And her, obviously, like, her voice kind of changes tone a lot. And she seems
very well acted.
She seems emotional, but also collected and, like, very mature in this, which is really cool because we have not gotten a lot of that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's a real, like, I'm really proud of Connie, but also really disappointed that doesn't work out. But also, like, I can't help but feel like that's definitely the right decision in her case.
Yeah. And so it's...
And that's where the episode ends, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the end of our episode, and that's not the end of Connie and Mitch's story. As we've discussed, they're like...
Four more episodes?
No, I think it might be more than that. I can check real quick. But yeah, we've got more to go on their arc as a couple, but this is kind of the end of a chapter.
Yeah. It definitely is, because now, like, we move forward and we have this relationship where it's long distance, and obviously things change, and Yeah. So, I don't know. It's tough. It's a good way to end this chapter. I will say that.
Yeah.
As unfortunate as it is, being a fan, but like, yeah.
Yeah, but I
kind of commend them for doing it though, because
I love it so much.
It would be so easy to just, keep him around. I mean,
right. Well, yeah, it would be easy for them to get married. It would also be easy for this to blow up and end their relationship.
Yeah.
But they both handle it as mature adults who are still in love, even though things aren't quite lining up for them.
Yeah.
And they have things they need to do. And yeah, we'll get, we have 6 more Connie and Mitch episodes we'll be covering.
Mm-hmm.
And all across the next album here. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that.
Definitely. Do you have anything to promote this week, Dylan?
I don't. I've got nothing in the promo department at the moment. How are you doing?
Nothing for me right now. Well, so I just got back from. I was in Italy for 2 weeks, and then I was in North Carolina for a week. So I'll probably be making a podcast about those. So I will let you know, but that's in the works. It's being planned right now as far as that, but it hasn't been recorded yet. So be on the lookout for that, and I'll give you updates whenever that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so yeah, neither of us have things to plug, but before we go, I want to take time to read a iTunes review.
We got another one?
Yeah, it like 2 months ago. I'm bad at this.
Oh, okay.
So right around the time we previously were like, hey, shout us out on iTunes, like give us another review. One came in and then I didn't think to check it. So this is from user Scout Finch's Overalls.
That's a great username.
It is a great username. I just saw that play on Broadway a week ago.
That's subtle flex.
So, well done. And the review is 5 stars. Love it. One of my favorite podcasts. I look forward to new recordings every Tuesday morning. I love hearing another person's perspectives and thoughts on Odyssey. I hope you keep them coming and are able to do the Blaggers saga at some point. So that was, yeah. Thank you, Scout Finch's Overalls, for leaving that
You're
that
a
review.
special guy.
And yeah, so greatly appreciated.
It is more than you know. Thank
yeah.
you.
So, and if anybody else wants to leave us an iTunes review or shoot an email or tweet at us, we're available,
and we're pretty good at responding.
Yeah,
we respond to pretty much everything, positive and negative.
Yeah, I try to. I handle a lot of that. Well, if it pertains to Andrew, obviously rope him in.
Hello.
But yeah. So
we'll see you in the
be.
next one.
Oh yeah, shoot! I gotta.
What's the next episode?
Pulling it up. Give me a second. All right. So we will be back. With the next episode sequentially, which is 526, and it's called Seeing Red. This is part of our 6-part color saga.
Wow.
Where
are they all sequential?
No.
Okay.
No. It's all on the next album.
Yeah.
But there's a couple. It's half the album, and then the other half is other stuff. But we get a bunch of episodes named after colors to round out the Connie and Mitch saga as we are covering it.
All right. Let's get it. I don't remember anything.
So yeah. Have a good one, everyone.
Yeah, I'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Wadfam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. This show is a fan podcast and has no official affiliation with Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family. As such, the copyright is ours under Creative Commons. Follow the podcast at wadfamchalkpod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. Episode 34, Here Today, Gone Tomorrow, Part 3, was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Acebo, and edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick, hoping you'll join us next time for more of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.